I want to show you how to find the net present value using the Texas Instruments 83 or 84. Basically, what you need to do is store these values, well, technically these values, in a list function, and then you'll access your finance apps and the NPV function, tell it the rate, tell it your cash flow at time 0, and just ask it to compute the net present value. And again, what the net present value function does is it'll take all your cash flows and it'll pull them back the appropriate number of years just based on where they are in the list. It'll pull the first one back 1 year, the third one back 3 years, and so on. And again, I'm saying years, but I really mean time periods. If I enter a monthly rate, then it will pull the first one back 1 month and the second one 2 months, and so on. So to input the values in your list, you access your stat and then edit. And here are your 3 of the 6 lists. To clear a list, my lists are currently clear, but yours might not be. To clear a list, you actually use your cursor and your cursor up to the list name, and then you press clear and enter, and it will clear your list. You enter all of your non-zero cash flows. Nope. You enter all of your non-year 0 cash flows into your list. So, like if there had been a value here for year 0, I wouldn't input it into the list. I start with year 1 or month 1 or day 1 or whatever time period it is. But I always start with the one that occurs at time period 1. So in my list, I would enter the 10,000, the 5,000, and the 3,000. And then I'm going to quit and go to Apps, Finance. And number 7 is my NPV function. I can scroll down to here and press Enter, or I can just type a 7 to pull it up. Now what it wants in the parentheses, first it wants the rate, and it wants the rate expressed as a whole number, not as a decimal, so 12% would be 12. The second thing after the comma, it wants the cash flow at time 0. Now, not every problem will have a cash flow at time 0. In this particular case, I don't have a cash flow at time 0. That's actually what I'm solving for. What will Brenda be willing to lend Kendall today, time 0, if this is what he's willing to pay her in years 1, 2, and 3? So, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to skip time 0. I absolutely have to enter something. The only thing that won't impact my final answer is to enter a 0. And then I need to enter the list, the number of the list that contains the values that I inputted. Well, that was contained in list 1, so I recall it by pressing second 1, and then I close my parentheses and press Enter, and there's the 1549.